probably wondered how black holes work and what makes them so deadly. I'm sure that we all know that when something gets sucked into a black hole, it is practically impossible for it to ever get out again. But why so?
The secret to what makes the black hole so hard to escape is gravity. Gravity could be described as the attraction between any objects that have mass. Black holes have a really strong gravitational pull, which could only mean that they have a lot, and I mean a lot of mass. But just how much, in fact?
Well, to be frank, the center of mass of a black hole is at its singularity, which is beyond what we call the event horizon, in which it is infinitely dense. You could probably tell that it would be unimaginably heavy. In fact, it is so ridiculously heavy that its gravitational pull is so strong that not even light can escape it. In this video, what we are currently interested in is how many burgers must an adult human eat in order to turn themselves into a black hole. But wait, if black holes are infinitely dense, then how would it be possible for us to eat enough burgers to become as heavy as a black hole? In comes what we call the Schwarzschild radius, named after Karl Schwarzschild, given by the formula where g is the gravitational constant, c is the speed of light, m is the mass of our object in question, and r is the Schwarzschild radius. With this, we can find the amount of mass needed to be compressed into a sphere with the radius r such that we can basically collapse it into a black hole.
To find out how many burgers that a person must eat for this to happen, we shall look at how much mass must be inside our stomach at one given time to make it collapse into a black hole.
So the average stomach is 30.5 centimeters long and 15.2 centimeters wide. To make things easier, we shall consider a sphere with radius 15 centimeters, which we will write in meters as 0.15 meters. And this is a decent substitute that basically can act as our stomach. Using some maths, we can find the mass needed to fit inside the stomach here to make it inevitably collapse into a black hole is roughly 1.01 times 10 to the 26 kilograms. Now obviously, it is not physically possible to eat so many burgers such that we collapse into a black hole. And even if we could, our stomach would burst before we could even get that far. To make this interesting concept actually work, we must first set aside some extra rules to help us. Firstly, for the sake of this idea, let's just assume that our stomach could hold infinitely many burgers at once without changing in volume at all. Secondly, let's just assume that there are enough burgers in this world to do just that. Now comes the fun part. It's already really hard to know what the average mass of a burger is, as a burger is a very broad category. Instead, we should use the average mass of a McDonald's burger. Its average mass will be approximately 210 grams, which is 0.21 kilos. We would need 481 septillion McDonald's burgers to turn our little stomachs into a black hole. Once we collapse into a black hole, we will have a singularity at the center of our stomach. As previously mentioned, it is infinitely dense, which means that our understandings of space-time stop working properly altogether at the center. Hence, singularities have been a topic of discussion and research for decades. In fact, it's actually very difficult to even prove that these singularities don't merely just exist in our calculations, but in nature too. Aside from our burger thought experiment, black holes actually naturally form from the collapse of really big stars. These black holes can get bigger by collecting in nearby matter. They're also theorized to shrink due to Hawking radiation, named after Stephen Hawking, which causes them to lose energy and eventually vanish.
Well, that answers our question. We need a whopping 481 septillion McDonald's burgers to collapse ourselves into a black hole. I guess at that point, we could really call ourselves a black hole.